Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are currently sitting at a solid 6-2. They're on a bye week right now, and I know it's been tough, especially since they have one of the hardest schedules in the league according to the stats. First off, let me just adjust my contact lenses here. Okay, back to the Steelers. They just had a fantastic game, racking up a season high of 426 total yards of offense. That's a big jump from their previous record of 409 yards just a week ago against the New York Jets. In fact, this is the first time since 2018 that the Steelers have managed over 400 yards in back-to-back games. That's a huge deal. But before we get deeper into the analysis, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. A quick shout out to our sponsor, BetUS, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. If we can get this video to 250 likes, it would mean so much to me. Now let's talk about how Russell Wilson has transformed this offense. Last season, it was frustrating watching teams like the Falcons rack up over 400 yards with Desmond Ridder as their quarterback while the Steelers struggled to do the same with Kenny Pickett. But now, things are looking up. Russell Wilson is helping create a more balanced attack. I thought Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren were going to be the best running back duo in the NFL this season. For a while, that didn't really show in the stats. But now, Najee has rushed for over 100 yards in 3 straight games. He just had a great game against the New York Giants, running for 114 yards on just 19 carries. That's impressive. Jaylen Warren is also contributing, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Together, they totaled 167 rushing yards against a strong Giants defense, averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Finally, we're seeing the consistency we expected from this run game. I know the offensive line has faced its challenges with injuries and penalties, but since Russell Wilson joined the team, the running game has really stepped up. Plus, Wilson brings the ability to make deep throws. Here's a fun fact. During the first 6 games with Justin Fields, the Steelers only had 9 passing plays of 20 yards or more. But with Wilson at the helm, that number has jumped significantly. Take George Pickens, for example. He averaged about 4.3 catches for 16.5 yards in the first 6 games. Now with Russell, he's averaging 4.5 catches for a whopping 92.5 yards. He even caught his first touchdown recently. And let's not forget about Calvin Austin III and Van Jefferson, who have also stepped up their games. Over the last couple of weeks, Calvin has made some big plays, and Van has been productive as well. In the recent game against the Giants, they both had solid performances, helping keep the game tied at halftime. Calvin Austin really made a splash with a punt return touchdown right after halftime, and then he followed it up with a 29-yard touchdown catch on the next drive. There's been a lot of buzz lately about wide receiver trades, like the Ravens picking up Deonte Johnson, Amari Cooper heading to the Buffalo Bills, and Davante Adams going to the New York Jets. Unfortunately, Brandon Aiyuk is out for the season. With the trade deadline just around the corner, people are wondering what the Steelers might do. But honestly, the situation has changed a lot. Now we have George Pickens stepping up as a solid number 1 receiver, averaging nearly 100 receiving yards per game. Calvin Austin is contributing about 35 yards per game, and Van Jefferson has been making a comeback in the last couple of weeks. Plus, we can't forget about Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Jaylen Warren, and Najee Harris, all of whom can catch passes. If Pittsburgh does make a move for a wide receiver, it'll likely be someone like Mike Williams or Darius Slayton. Not a big-name player like Cooper Kupp or Davante Adams, and to be honest, they might not even need a major addition right now. Just because the Steelers are 6-2 doesn't mean they're guaranteed to win the division or even make the playoffs. If they can finish the next 10 games with a record of 4-6, they'll end up at 10-7, which is typically enough to secure a playoff spot. But they have some tough matchups coming up, including games against the Ravens, Browns with Jameis Winston, and 2 against the Bengals. They need to clean up silly penalties and slow starts, like those face mask calls that have hurt them. They have a tough stretch coming up, with 3 games in 10 days against the Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, and Kansas City Chiefs. The first 2 are on the road, making it even tougher. In fact, they have one of the hardest remaining schedules in the NFL. If they can stay around .500 and handle the Ravens, there's a good chance for a division win, and hopefully a playoff game where we can finally see a Steelers victory. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Steelers season so far in the comments. And a big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. We'll see you in a few days. Peace.